Welcome, everybody. This is the Board of Commissioners, City of Bowling Green, Kentucky. Regular meeting, City Hall, January 4th, 2022 at 4:30 p.m. We will start out with the invocation and pledge allegiance, and I'll turn it over to Commissioner Hill.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm honored today to have with us the lead pastor from Crossland, Mr. Greg Farrell. And Greg, unfortunately, you weren't able to be with us last month because you were out of town, but I want to take this opportunity to thank you and Crossland for everything you have done. With that.
Absolute honor. Mr. Mayor, thank you for having me aboard. Jeff, great to see you. All of those of you who serve this community. And before I pray, I just thank you. You know, none of us signed up for what we just experienced, but I think we were all wise enough to know that you can never really control what you're going to experience. And the city of Bowling Green and two of these gentlemen behind me who I was just laughing with, and they mean the world to me. What their agencies do are second to none. And I just want to go on the record saying, seriously, if anybody, I know it just came out, we're the 88th most pleasant place in America to live. I don't know who's counting those numbers, because I can't believe there's a better place than Bowling Green, Kentucky, and Warren County to live. The Commonwealth of Kentucky is an extremely special place, and adversity has the capacity to ruin or reveal. And in this community, it didn't ruin. We've lost lives, we've lost a lot of property, but it didn't ruin. It revealed. It's not making us who we are, it's revealed who we already are. And we're a people committed to one another, and we have different opinions, we have different political opinions, and all that's true. But when push came to shove, we really proved that we have one mission, and that's to take care of the people of this community, no matter what it's going to take. And you should all, our elected officials, the five of you that I'm looking at, you should be very proud of how you responded. You have set the tone for this community, that our differences no longer have the capacity to divide us unless we let them. Because our adversity revealed that we are far more committed to that which unites us than anything that could possibly divide us. And you're setting that tone. And so thank you, Mr. Mayor, for leading the way. Let's pray. Father, we love you and we thank you. And we trust you. And we will be humble enough and vulnerable enough at this moment to state we need you. We have found ourselves face to face with our own limitations and our own inabilities and our own vulnerabilities that, although have the capacity to expose our weaknesses, actually in this community they exposed our strengths, that we are greater together. That no matter what comes our way, when we unite, there is nothing that we can't overcome together. And if we can't overcome it, at least we're together. And so if we got to face it together, fight it together, rebuild it together, that's what we're going to do. And so I'm thankful for that. And I also pray, Father, that the tiring efforts and the adversity, especially on our community of first responders and emergency management, and certainly our county government, has been brutal, but also to the houses of faith in this community who have responded extraordinarily well, voluntarily just stepped up. And it's just amazing what has happened in this community. So, Father, I know at this point the one thing all leaders need, and especially our commission needs more than anything, is wisdom. And you promised us in your word that if any of us should lack wisdom, all we have to do is ask God. And he gives generously to all of us without finding fault. You're not looking and down on us from heaven thinking, well, if you guys had come to me sooner. That's not how you operate. You respond as soon as we come to you. You don't find fault. You answer prayer. You give us your insight. You help us make decisions. So I pray that you would give them the wisdom and the strength to make the best decisions possible, not only in light of the recent events, but as this community moves forward. What's been revealed is that this is a great place to live, a great place to open a business, a great place to raise a family. And I just pray that the people that are leading feel the satisfaction of knowing that when the curtain was drawn back through adversity, what was seen was actually beautiful. For those who lost lives, for loved ones battling through this adversity, we pray strength, fortitude, and a mindset of getting up off the mat and rebuilding a life that's worth living. I guess the only thing I can say to close, Father, is thank you. Thank you for your son. For his life, his death, his resurrection, and the eternal hope that's offered to each and every one of us through his name. It's in that powerful and holy name we pray. Amen. God bless each and every one of you. Thanks a lot, Melinda.
To the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Pastor Ferris. Thank you, Commissioner Hill. Mrs. Jackson, will you please do our roll call?
Commissioner Bailey.
Here.
Commissioner Beasley Brown.
Here.
Commissioner Hill.
Here.
Commissioner Perigin.
Here.
Mayor Alcott.
Here. Mr. Meisel, do you have any comments at this time?
Mayor, I'd like to just briefly update everyone on our progress that we're making with debris removal. I sent you these reports earlier this afternoon, but we are roughly have picked up about just under 70,000 cubic yards, a lot of stuff, around 1,300 loads, and those were big trucks, and so we're making good progress. I think we're probably around day 13, day 14 now, and approaching, we think maybe approaching the 50% mark, we're hoping, so as far as what the reports are showing. So making good progress with that. And then the only thing other thing I have is just to remind anyone that wants to make public comments to make sure you sign up on the board there in the back corner. And that's all I have, Mayor.
Thank you very much, Mr. Meisel. Our first is approval of our minutes for regular meeting December 21st, 2020.
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Hill, second by Commissioner Bailey. Any discussion? None at this time. Roll call, please.
Bailey.
Yes.
Beasley Brown.
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Perigin.
Yes.
Alcott.
Yes. Municipal order number 2022-1.
Municipal order approving the promotion of Ashley Remington to the position of Communications Center Manager in the Police Department.
So moved. Second.
Moved by Commissioner Perigin, second by Commissioner Beasley Brown. Mr. Meisel.
With the resignation of Amelia Bowen, she was here for 14 years. I'd like to thank her for her 14 years of service. We had an opening for the communications manager, and I'd like to ask Chief Delaney to come up and make his recommendation.
Evening, Mayor, Commissioners. Thank you for having me tonight. Again, I would like to publicly thank Amelia Bowen for her service and her leadership and her forethought for the Communication Center as we progressed and made it a better center for our community. With her resignation, we had an opening and we interviewed 3 internal candidates who are supervisors. One of the things that we try to provide at the police department, and dispatch being under that umbrella, is great community service and customer service. And that starts with the first phone call to dispatch. So in that, we want a manager who is able to make sure we have that quality assurance that when you call the police, you're calling in a crisis and you're able to manage that and develop other leaders and to have compassion and show that compassion. So as we develop the dispatch center and develop other leaders, you relay that to them, and we have generations of dispatchers who want to stay and provide that service to the community. So after interviewing all 3, who were all qualified for the position, I had a tough decision to make, and Ashley Remington rose to the top. She's not here tonight. She's out with illness, but I'm sure she's probably watching. Ashley started her career with the police department in 2012. She was promoted to supervisor in 2015. She's a native of Franklin Simpson. She has a bachelor's degree in criminology and sociology from WKU, and she's currently working on her MBA at WKU. I think she has all the qualities and the characteristics that we need to be a successful manager and to lead that division. So I'll take any questions at this time.
Thank you, Chief. Questions? Questions? Roll call, please.
Bailey.
Yes.
Beasley Brown.
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Perigin.
Yes.
Alcott.
Yes. Municipal order number 2022-2.
Municipal order approving the probationary appointment of Rachel Haley to the position of Office Associate 1 in the Parks and Recreation Department.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Hill, second by Commissioner Bailey. Mr. Meisel.
So with recent promotion of Jennifer Coleman to administrative manager, that opened up her slot. And so we went out and looked for some candidates, and I'd like to ask Tyler Tiger Tooley, our HR manager in charge of recruitment and hiring, to come up and make the recommendation. Tiger?
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioner. Can I give you an update on the recruitment process for the Office Associate 1 position in the Parks Department? We received 24 applications. All applicants were sent a online skills assessment. Of those 24, 9 applicants were selected for interview. The interview panel consisted of Brent Belcher, Jennifer Coleman, Karen Pierce, Kim Ives, and myself. Okay, so we would like to recommend hiring Rachel Haley to the position of Office Associate 1 in the Parks Administration Division. Rachel attended Warren Central High School. She is a graduate of Sky CTC, and she is currently employed with Warren County Public Schools. Rachel is not here tonight because she had family obligations, so let me know if you have any questions.
Thank you, Mrs. Tooley. Any questions? None questions? Roll call, please.
Haley.
Yes.
Beasley Brown.
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Perigin.
Yes.
Alcott.
Yes. Thank you. Municipal order number 2022-3.
Municipal order authorizing and accepting bid number 2022-20 for the transit buses from Creative Bus Sales, Inc. of College Park, Georgia, in an amount not to exceed $1,368,515.
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Beasley Brown, second by Commissioner Perigin. Mr. Mizel.
So earlier in the year, we received federal fundings from the FTA to buy some buses and update our fleet. And at the end of September, we issued a request for proposals, and we got 2 proposals, one from Creative Bus Sales, the other one from Alliance Bus Group. And this was an evaluated bid, it wasn't strictly low cost, so it was evaluated based on the criteria there in your memo. And a committee was put together consisting of NCS, the city's transit management contractor, RATP Dev, along with our transit operations contractor and Community Action of Southern Kentucky. And through the evaluation, they are recommending to go with the Creative Bus Sales, and they received the highest score, and they were also the lowest cost, and that cost is looking at $1,368,515. And these are different type of bus. Brent or Nick can explain to you, but these are what they call low floor cutaway buses, where they are lower to the ground, easier to get on with ADA, and I don't think you have to have a lift with these, and I think you just flip down a little ramp. They're so low to the ground and a lot easier to board. And so we're looking at buying, I think, 6 of these with this money. And as I mentioned, Nick and Brent are here to answer any questions you might have.
Go ahead.
I did Google when I was looking at the packet at home, this bus description, and it kind of looks like a sports car that's so low. And so I was just checking to see because those are the ones that I saw that Google showed me about a low cutaway bus. So just checking about in terms of our roads and, any bumps and things. Is this, do these come with any higher maintenance costs related to how low they are, or it kind of lifts up when they pull out?
No, they do have a different suspension system
Okay.
that can change some of the elevation on those. We have tried these on several of our routes where we had some of those concerns. And one of the things with some of our existing higher floor buses is just they're higher, but they have a very long tail. And so any types of inclines, they drag a lot on the tail inside of those. And with these, we didn't see those. And so even though they're low floor compared to other transit buses. They're still what I'd consider a normal floor for normal vehicles that we encounter from day to day.
Thank you. That was it.
Do we know, I guess, I have a question, I apologize, Mayor. Do we know how soon we will get the buses? I know with the shortage.
Yeah, that's one of the challenges, and I can't recall, I don't know if Nick does either. Robert's not here tonight, he had to be away. what the time frame is, but these are based on a Ford chassis. So it starts with the Ford making the chassis, and then it's sent to another provider who actually builds the bus on top of that chassis. So there's a lot of components that go into this, and we also purchase these with all of our equipment already there. So all of our radios, all of our computer equipment, all of our camera equipment, so that is all inclusive as part of this. So there's a lot of moving pieces to this. So it will still take several months, but either way, this puts us in the line. And that's the main thing to do at this point in vehicle purchases, is put yourself in the line, and the economies of supply and chain out there will take care of the rest.
Thank you, Mr. Childers.
Thank you. Further questions? All right, roll call, please.
Bailey?
Yes.
Beasley Brown?
Yes.
Hill?
Yes.
Perigin?
Yes.
Alcott?
Yes. Municipal order number 2022-4.
Municipal order authorizing and accepting bid number 2022-14 for Roland Bland pickleball courts and Lampkin Park tennis courts from Scotty's Contracting and Stone LLC of Bowling Green, Kentucky, in the amount of $119,542.70.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Beasley Brown, second by Commissioner Perigin. Mr. Mizel.
So if you'll recall, this was part of our budget recommendation to convert some tennis courts at Roland Bland over to pickleball courts. Pickleball's gotten really popular, and more people are playing it and wanting the courts. So Brent Belcher went to work and submitted this out for bid, and we only got one bid from Scotty's, but we think it's a pretty good bid. We're going to propose to do take the base bid of converting the main tennis courts there, and that's the $87,268. And we're also going to take the bid to do Lampkin Park tennis court repair at the $32,274 for a total of $119,542 to stay within budget. Most of these funds are in the Parks Improvement Fund, with a few in the Parks General Fund budget. But we're going to hold off on the alternate bid for now, and I think we may revisit that, but that'll be up to Brent. But we think this will get us what we need for now with the $87,268 and the $32,274 for a total of $119,542. Mr. Belcher's here to answer any questions on this project or projects.
Questions? Okay, thank you. Roll call, please.
Bailey?
Yes.
Beasley Brown?
Yes.
Hill?
Yes.
Perigin?
Yes.
Alcott?
Yes. Ordinance number BG 2022-1, first reading is non-binding.
Ordinance rezoning real estate. Ordinance rezoning a tract of land containing .8887 acre from HB Highway Business and LI Light Industrial to RM4 multifamily residential located at 0 Enterprise Court, presently owned by Wayne and Elva Overholt, with Matt Fuqua as the applicant.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Hill, second by Commissioner Perigin. Mr. Mizel.
This was a unanimous vote by the Planning Commission, 7-0, for a rezoning on Enterprise Court. Mr. Peterson is here, can answer any of your questions you might have on this one.
Thank you. Any questions at this time? None. Roll call, please.
Bailey?
Yes.
Beasley Brown?
Yes.
Hill?
Yes.
Perigin?
Yes.
Alcott?
Yes. Ordinance number BG 2022-2, first reading, non-binding.
Ordinance annexing property by consent. Ordinance annexing 232.20 acres of property located on Freeport Road, presently owned by the Intermodal Transportation Authority, Inc., with said territory being contiguous to existing city limits.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Beasley Brown, second by Commissioner Hill. Mr. Mizel.
This property was recently purchased by the ITA for more land in the Transpark to expand. And so they are coming to us for annexation. I think Brent Childers worked on this maybe a little bit. It's 232 acres with plans of development on that with adjacent to the Transpark. And we'll try to answer any questions you might have on this.
I got a question on that. Jeff and I actually serve on this board, but I want to say it's almost doubling the size of the existing Transpark, correct?
Well, we recently did, what we bonded, or the city bonded, was roughly 370-some acres with the Wilson Farm. So to compare to that, it's almost pretty close. It's two-thirds of that, that size. There is more acreage out there that we're going to try to get, and ITA's working on that, but this is a significant piece to get out there, so it was a good grab.
It seems like from every month that we meet, there's lots of interest,
Right.
lots of projects that are being looked at for the Trans Park, so growth
Right.
is good.
A lot going on out there.
Yep.
This growth is good. Other questions, comments?
It almost feels like the jobs are getting better, too. We're able to attract better jobs.
All right, roll call, please.
Bailey?
Yes.
Beasley Brown?
Yes.
Hill?
Yes.
Perigin?
Yes.
Alcott?
Yes. Ordinance number BG 2022-3, first reading, non-binding.
Ordinance relating to classification pay schedule. Ordinance amending the classification pay schedule U for unclassified part-time employees of the City of Bowling Green for fiscal year 2022.
So moved. Second.
Moved by Commissioner Bailey, second by Commissioner Beasley Brown. Mr. Mizel.
First of all, I want to wholeheartedly thank, again, all of the churches, volunteers that have stepped up to serve, man positions, whether it be at the old mall, whether it be at the Sears Disaster Recovery Center. They've been invaluable because, you know, city and county just couldn't do it all, and we need help from the community, and obviously the community has stepped up in a big way in a lot of areas. And so, but we realize, though, as we start the new year, people can't volunteer forever and sacrifice, 40 hours a week to man certain things. So we realize that we have some needs out at the Sears Disaster Recovery Center that we're using as a for people to get supplies and that sort of thing. And so we thought we needed to go ahead and hire some seasonal people to help manage the store out there, the warehouse, some assistance to those two positions, as well as the intake process. And so with that, we needed to create some part-time positions, and so we're coming to you with this classification pay schedule to add a tornado relief coordinator position, and we're looking at doing 5 of those. This would be temporary for 90 days, and we would like to add this to our schedule, and this would pay around $17.75, and we have signed up already 3 to 4 people have already started working, and we're hoping to start the 4th and 5th maybe the next day or so. And so as we transition, and Living Hope and Crossland and Hillview Heights and all these other churches need to go back to their day jobs, we got people we think that can take over and run this for the next 90 days and be stabilize it and provide continuity, and they're going to be trained up and take over these. So this is something we did during the emergency, and this is just a job grade classification pay schedule to put this position in play. It will require 2 readings. We'll have the second reading on the 18th. I'll try to answer any questions.
I'd like to comment on this, Mr. Mizel. I sent to the commissioners the Joplin after actions, basically stories written from city leaders. One of the things they captivated is the difficulty, but the good news is that you can, if you can capture the volunteer hours, that there is a compensation for that. So we understand this is a marathon, it's not a sprint. The goal is to get us, completely sustainable for our businesses, for our homes, for the families. It may take some more additions, but I appreciate the insightfulness and the the step process to get us to that fruition, to get us to that, date where everyone's standing on their own 2 feet from this disaster that happened on December 11th. And we understand that there's going to be a cooperation partnership with the county on some of these positions. So I'll just say temperament is important. However, sustainability is what's critical right now to get us to that end state where we are taking care of the people as best possible. And to reiterate, the overwhelming, arm of government that are the pillars of our community, that our churches have stepped up, our volunteers have stepped up, they have all done that. I want them to understand this was in the thought process of how do we get that relief. And people say, can I still help and can I still volunteer? Absolutely. But this will give us some continuity in that endeavor. So I just wanted to state that because we've never been through this. None of us have been through this. And this is new for our community. However, there are some lessons learned that states that this is a good practice for us to accomplish.
The two takeaways that I've gotten from all of this experience is the volunteer piece, trying to manage and organize that where it's effective and efficient, and then there's the donations piece of these tractor trailer loads of stuff coming into town. In the county, I want to mention, the county has hired a gentleman to manage that side of it. We have a warehouse in Franklin that we are taking stuff to, and this gentleman is organizing that warehouse and making sure the Sears gets if they need more toilet paper at Sears, he orders up a truck of toilet paper or whatever, and that's how we're working this, and he's doing a great job, and so we think we've got this figured out, at least for the next 90 days, and once that 90 days is up, we may decide, well, we need another 30 or another 60, and we'll go from there. But we just felt like this was a necessity that we get these roles nailed down by people that can commit for 90 days to working and managing this for us, because we need the manpower. So thank you.
I think you were alluding to this. Are these wages reimbursed by FEMA?
We're going to do everything we can to get them back, yes.
Thank you.
Roll call, please.
Bailey?
Yes.
Beasley Brown?
Yes.
Hill?
Yes.
Perigin?
Yes.
Alcott?
Yes. Ordinance number BG 2022-4, first reading, non-binding.
Ordinance granting franchise related to telecommunication system. Ordinance granting a non-exclusive telecommunications or related non-cable franchise to SQF LLC, a foreign limited liability company, for the use of rights-of-way for the operation and maintenance of a telecommunications or related non-cable system within the city of Bowling Green, Kentucky, and further authorizing the execution of a franchise agreement.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Perigin, second by Commissioner Hill. Mr. Mizel.
So that I don't screw this up, I'm going to hand this off to City Attorney Hillary Hightower and let her explain this franchise agreement.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
that's okay.
Go ahead.
If you all will recall, we had one of these a couple of months ago. We did in 2019 establish a process by which people bid on these franchises, and we have all the requirements in that ordinance. We opened the bidding up this summer and had 2 bids that were appropriate. One of those is SQF LLC. They have purchased 4 poles from AT&T, from which they're going to offer commercial services only. They do not, at this time, plan to have any expansion. In my memo, I've given you those addresses as well as attached maps, which show where those poles are. And Natasha Ernst is here from SQF LLC if you all have any questions for her. But they do meet all of our guidelines for a franchise.
Thank you, Mrs. Hightower. Is there any questions? Okay. Roll call, please.
Bailey?
Yes.
Beasley Brown?
Yes.
Hill?
Yes.
Perigin?
Yes.
Alcott?
Yes. Municipal order number 2022-5,
Municipal order approving and accepting an award of 25 Veterans Affairs Supportive Housing Vouchers for Section 8 Housing Choice Voucher Program.
So moved. Second.
Moved by Commissioner Hill, second by Commissioner Beasley Brown. Mr. Mizel.
This is great news we received recently. The Department of Housing Urban Development HUD has offered us 25 more veteran housing vouchers, and there's 25 of these. This would bring us to 35 total. And what these do is it speeds up get those veterans that are on the list now, gets them into housing a lot faster. And in the last 2 years, we have added a significant amount of housing choice vouchers, and we're now to the total of 720. So we're making good progress. I'd like to thank Nick and Brent for working on this, and Elvira especially. This is a really good thing for our veterans, and appreciate all their work on this. Thank you, Elvira.
I also want to thank you all for working hard to get these vouchers. It was amazing to me to read that we'd only had 10 vouchers for veterans before this, and thinking about how many veterans call Bowling Green home and the amazing veterans services we have here. So I'm really grateful that we get to partner with them to offer these 25 additional vouchers. And so I'm just curious about, are there more out there? Is there a reason why we were capped at such a low number? And, you know, are we continuing to try and get some more for our veterans?
So I want to clarify one thing. This is for homeless veterans.
Right.
This is not just for veterans, for homeless veterans. So we currently have 10, and whenever we started that, Elvira and I, several years ago, felt like that was a good place to start. Through her leadership over the last several years, we've seen growth in that. So we currently are supporting 13 additional that aren't using our vouchers, that are using KHC vouchers. So we felt like 25 is the right next step. So those 13 will be absorbed from KHC into these as part of these 25. And so we monitor it, and so we can always piggyback off of KHC if we go above our number. We have an agreement with them. But the big thing about the VASH vouchers and the partnership is the partnership with the VA. The VA, everything has to come through the VA, so they have to certify them, they have to process them. They bring the client to us and say, this person is ready for a voucher. But then they also provide the case management supportive services to that homeless veteran to then take them and make sure that they can find a unit, to get through utilities, to do the supportive services for the lifestyle. So it's not just a voucher, it's the case management side that the VA is providing. The 25 number was significant also in this because it provides for additional resources from VA, for some more support staff for those homeless veterans that are part of this VASH program in this area. And so this allows for additional administrative personnel to assist in that. That's really where the 25 came from. So if we feel like in the future we need to grow, then we'll explore those opportunities. But right now we feel like we're in a good place with 35.
Thank you and your whole team for taking care of our homeless veterans, and really appreciate your work in getting these extra vouchers.
Mr. Childers and Nick and Elvira, I want to express my gratitude as well, especially having family members that were in the military. Do we know, I guess you said the 13 of the KHC is going to basically go into the ones of the vouchers that we have of the 35 right now. Do we have like a number of homeless veterans here, a hard number?
No, I don't have an additional number. KHC oversees what's called a K count, a point in time count every year that does denote how many homeless persons that they find, and then they will do that as a status for veterans, is a certain classification under that. But I can't tell you offhand how many other homeless veterans could be, and that number could change literally daily in our community, so there'd be no way for me to provide that. But the VA is the one that is out there really trying to find the people and helping them get everything to get them back on their feet.
I appreciate everything that you guys have done.
Thank you.
K count happens actually late into this month, doesn't it? I
And you
believe.
could be correct. I remember it's usually winter time.
Last week of January.
They always pick the coldest time.
Right.
Thank you, Brent. Elvira, just a little heartfelt. Appreciate your work and what you've endured, losing your home in this process, you and your family, your mother. Appreciate your resiliency. Okay, no further questions, comments? Roll call, please.
Bailey?
Yes.
Beasley Brown?
Yes.
Hill?
Yes.
Perigin?
Yes.
Alcott?
Yes. Municipal Order Number 2022-6.
Municipal order authorizing the submission of a letter of inquiry to the Open Society Foundations in support of state and local welcome effort in an amount up to $200,000.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Perigin, second by Commissioner Hill. Mr. Mizel.
So this is a letter of inquiry to this organization called Open Society Foundations. We would like to try for $200,000 assistance to help with our Afghan refugees that have come to Bowling Green and their resettlement, assisting them. There's no match funds required on this, and the grant funds could be used to hire a local coordinator and to help with the Afghan refugees settle in Bowling Green. We could also use the money for programming for English as a second language and driver's license, getting their driver's license, all kinds of things like that to help them acclimate to Bowling Green in Kentucky and the United States. And I'd like to thank Leda for her work on this and pursuing this. This would be a really good thing if we could get this grant. So we'd like your permission to pursue this tonight, and Leda's here to answer any questions, and Nick and Brent as well. So,
Can I ask Leda a question? Would you care to just fill everybody in on where we are with the Afghan refugees? And also, can this grant be used to offset Leda's time here at the city working with the Afghan resettlement effort?
I think we have received, as of December 14th, we had received, resettled about 200 Afghan refugees. Family sizes vary, but a lot of singles, individual singles that serve the Army. And so they're soldiers, former soldiers working with the American Army, and then family units of various sizes as well. We are expected to receive up to 350 Afghan parolees within the fiscal year that started October 2021 and September. But that's anticipated to be sooner than later. So anticipated to receive probably by February the rest of the Afghans. And I have not heard if that has been stopped or not due to the tornado.
And since they were working with American soldiers, do most of them speak English?
No, not all, not most of them. So there are some that have language capacity. We haven't assessed all of the language needs among the Afghan community because we haven't really had a lot of time to do that, certainly. So we're starting to get to know our new Afghan neighbors. And so this funds would be used to support the work that the resettlement agency is doing in resettling refugees. That is their primary obligation. However, we know that with the increase of arrivals and how quickly they have come to the community, because if you think about refugee resettlement, we typically have the capacity to resettle that number 350, but we don't often get them all at once. We get them throughout the entire year. So you have 30 refugees coming on a single month, maybe less or a little bit more, but not 200 refugees within a 2-month period. So we were invited to apply as a targeted municipality. So there are certain municipalities that were invited to submit this letter of intent.
Can it be used to offset cost of personnel to help in the resettlement
well,
efforts?
Leda is a very, very busy lady, and
Absolutely.
we would need additional support. That I would recommend we use it for an additional staff to take this on. So
I think we were proposing a contract position so that we can leverage this position and not just be used for municipal government, but to also coordinate with other partner agencies, faith-based institutions. We know that a lot of churches and the mosque are wanting to adopt families and walk families through the process. So we were looking at a community navigator to be used at different capacities, not just within city government, but be able to coordinate and help to facilitate that process.
Sounds like a good use of the funds.
Who's coordinating the adoption process, Leda?
Well, that's one of the things that, as community partners are talking about, adopting the families and through the, and making sure that all of their needs are met. So outside of the case management that happens by the International Center, which they have assigned case managers to each of those families, these would be individuals that would come along the families and help them walk day to day. So it would be very informal, from showing them around the city, how to go to the grocery store, what recreational opportunities there are, and so filling in the gaps that perhaps the International Center isn't able to or doesn't have the capacity to do currently. So that coordinated would be a community effort, and so we are convening a community. We had in plan to have a community work group dedicated to supporting Afghan refugees. Our first meeting was scheduled on December the 14th at 10 a.m. And so you can imagine that same group rolled over into tornado recovery. And so that's what we have been continuing to meet to discuss tornado recovery. And hopefully we will fold back in at some point and continue our work supporting Afghan refugees.
Thank you, Leda.
Thank you.
I just want to say that everything that you've done for the city, I've seen, just hats off to you, because it seems like you've been a great liaison for the city. Just a comment.
I just have a little story. So just a couple days after the tornado, I got to meet some of the Afghan refugees and, assess some of their needs. And just to hear them talk about, their love of Bowling Green and jumping right in on top of roofs, helping their neighbors recover from the tornado after their worlds have, just been totally turned over. They've been ripped apart from their families and just own turmoil in their own life, and that they would just already, as our new Bowling Green neighbors, just be such an incredible demonstration of who we are as people who call Bowling Green home. It was such a beautiful thing to witness their love of our city and just jumping right in. So I just wanted to share that about our new Afghan neighbors and how they're just jumping right in and joining us in our love for our city.
Okay, thank you all. Roll call, please.
Bailey?
Yes.
Beasley Brown?
Yes.
Hill?
Yes.
Perigin?
Yes.
Alcott?
Yes. Municipal order number 2022-7.
Municipal order approving the transit procurement policy for the City of Bowling Green Transit Program.
I'll move.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Hill, second by Commissioner Perigin. Mr. Mizel.
So since we do run a transit program, FDA does require that we have a written procurement standards and policies manual, and that's what you see before you tonight. This kind of gives you the rules and regulations for procuring software, vehicles, equipment, anything under the transit system, and it's a requirement by FDA. And I'd like to thank Nick and most likely Robert Gill and maybe Brent Childers, but maybe not, for working on this, but probably not. He's been busy with other things, but Nick can probably answer any questions you might have on this procurement policy. I think it has a lot of similarities as the city's procurement policies, and so we want to make sure we do things right and follow the rules of FTA.
Mizel, any questions, comments? None? Roll call, please.
Bailey?
Yes.
Beasley Brown?
Yes.
Hill?
Yes.
Perigin?
Yes.
Alcott?
Yes. Municipal order number 2022-8.
Municipal order authorizing an amendment to the City of Bowling Green, Kentucky Capital Improvement Program for fiscal years 2021, 2022 through 2024, 2025.
I'll move.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Hill, second by Commissioner Perigin. Mr. Mizel.
I'm going to defer to our Assistant City Manager, CFO Katie Schaller-Ward, to kind of give you the highlights of the proposed changes to our CIP. Katie?
This is probably the first time any of you have seen something like this. We generally don't and haven't in the past kept our CIP document livable, a live document where we update it periodically. So that was one of the items that I wanted to do. So going forward, the multi-year capital project program would actually be more current and more specific to how we are spending money, how projects come in, whether they're over budget, under budget, that sort of thing. So this is basically from September through December of any changes that we had in that multi-year plan because you adopted it originally in September. And so you might see another one of these before the year is up, but I want to do this similar to budget amendments where we amend it periodically and update it based on actual happenings of projects. And obviously we had a few additional projects added this year that we did not anticipate, and I wanted to make sure those were in the document as well.
Just want to say thanks as well for helping us just think through thoroughly how we are using our taxpayer dollars and making sure we're doing that well with transparency. So this was a great idea that you had to put this together, and I already feel better prepared to make informed choices for our community. So thank you for taking the time to do that for us.
Thank you, Katie. It is a great living document, and it's, appreciate that. All right, roll call, please.
Bailey?
Yes.
Beasley Brown?
Yes.
Hill?
Yes.
Perigin?
Yes.
Alcott?
Yes. Municipal order number 2022-9.
Municipal order approving a donation agreement between the City of Bowling Green and Good Morning America for tornado relief.
So moved. Second.
Moved by Commissioner Hill, second by Commissioner Beasley Brown. Mr. Mizel.
We're very grateful to ABC and Good Morning America for bringing us the $50,000 donation. As you know, anything above $5,000 is above my jurisdiction, so we're bringing it to you guys tonight to ratify this. We do have the check for $50,000, and it's in the bank waiting for the appropriate uses of it. And this is just the contract that we signed with Good Morning America.
I want to commend Mayor Alcott for his appearance on Good Morning America on behalf of our city. We really appreciate you, and it was really heartwarming to watch that and see the strength and the resiliency kind of portrayed on a television show. And you did a great job, Mayor.
They gave me
Great.
10 seconds. So it was one of, what do you say in 10 seconds? I don't know really what I said, but I will tell you what I felt. And I think y'all know. All right. Roll call, please.
Bailey?
Yes.
Beasley Brown?
Yes.
Hill?
Yes.
Perigin?
Yes.
Alcott?
Yes. Ordinance number BG 2021-47. It is second reading and binding.
Ordinance rezoning real estate. Ordinance rezoning a tract of land containing 55.91 acres from PUD Planned Unit Development to LI Light Industrial located at 0 Porter Pike, presently owned by Southern Kentucky Land LLC, with Holly Performance Products, Inc. as the applicant.
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Hill, second by Commissioner Beasley Brown. Mr. Mizel.
This is second reading of a
Sorry,
5-0 recommendation from the Planning and Zoning up on Porter Pike for Holly. And Mr. Peterson is here if you have any more questions.
5-0 last, correct? All right. Roll call, please.
Bailey?
Yes.
Beasley Brown?
Yes.
Hill?
Yes.
Perigin?
Yes.
Alcott?
Yes. Ordinance number BG 2021-48, second reading and binding.
Ordinance rezoning real estate. Ordinance rezoning a portion of a tract of land containing 9.86 acres from HB Highway Business to RM4 Multifamily Residential located at 0 Cooksey Lane, presently owned by the Hub at Lovers Lane LLC.
So moved. Second.
Moved by Commissioner Hill, second by Commissioner Beasley Brown. This is our second reading, binding. I believe it was 5-0 by our commissioners. Questions, comments? Roll call, please.
Bailey?
Yes.
Beasley Brown?
Yes.
Hill?
Yes.
Perigin?
Yes.
Alcott?
Yes. Ordinance number BG 2021-49, second reading and binding.
Ordinance rezoning real estate. Ordinance rezoning a tract of land containing 3.8993 acres from HB Highway Business to RM4 Multifamily Residential located at 0 Thames Valley Way, presently owned by Thames Valley Property LLC.
Second.
Moved by Commissioner Hill, second by Commissioner Perigin. This was a 5-0. If there's ever a time that we need new housing, and at this moment, we know why we're continuing to develop and grow. We have jobs that are needed to be filled, and we're glad to see this growth from our community and our investment that are coming from our community leaders. So, sorry, I just had to state that. No other further comments? Roll call, please.
Bailey?
Yes.
Beasley Brown?
Yes.
Hill?
Yes.
Perigin?
Yes.
Alcott?
Yes. Ordinance number BG 2021-50, second reading and binding.
Ordinance relating to budget amendment. Ordinance approving budget amendment number 2 to the City of Bowling Green, Kentucky annual operating budget for fiscal year 2022.
So moved. Second.
By Commissioner Hill, second by Commissioner Perigin. I think we've all been through this, so unless there's question, comments. Roll call, please.
Bailey?
Yes.
Beasley Brown?
Yes.
Hill?
Yes.
Perigin? Alcott?
Yes. Ordinance number BG 2021-52, second reading and binding.
Ordinance creating interlocal memorandum of understanding. Ordinance approving an interlocal memorandum of understanding between the Warren County, City of Bowling Green, and Intermodal Transportation Authority, Inc. related to the acquisition of additional real property for the expansion of the Kentucky Transpark.
So moved.
Second. Ooh.
By Commissioner Perigin, second by Commissioner Hill. We've been through this. Any comments, questions? Roll call, please.
Bailey?
Yes.
Beasley Brown?
Yes.
Hill?
Yes.
Perigin?
Yes.
Alcott?
Yes. Mrs. Jackson, will you please check for public comments? Our next scheduled meeting will be January 18th at 2022. Thank you. Will Mrs. Allen please come up to the podium, and we'll ask that you keep it to 3, but no longer than 5. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Lisa Allen. I am a resident of Bowling Green my whole life. My grandparents were from here, my parents were from here. My father worked for planning and zoning. My stepfather was mayor and commissioner for a while. I've been in this room probably 4th of my life. And I'll say that because I'm getting to this point. Like many people, my husband and I were affected by the tornado. And we had some rental property affected, and then his place of business was affected. On December 21st, my husband received a text message, and it came from a person labeled as Becky. This Becky person stated in the text message that she was a volunteer for Carlos Bailey and Dana Beasley Brown. Basically, it said, we're here to help you. We know you've probably been affected. Contact us. And I thought at first, okay, that's nice, but where's my text message? I'm an owner of these properties. I pay the mortgage. I'm on the deeds. Where's my text message? And more importantly, why weren't you on there, Mayor, or why weren't you on there, Melinda or Sue Perigin? Why was just 2 people out of this commission? Why just 2? And so I was a little confused, not mad, but just confused. I didn't quite understand that. Then there was a follow-up text on that, and it actually listed, I believe, the Warren County, Mike Buchanan or something to that effect. I didn't print those out. I thought I had, so I meant to read it to you. So basically, I texted this Becky and said, first off, where is my text message and how did you get our numbers? We have unlisted cell phone numbers. The response I got back from that number was, that my number is not associated with an active conversation. So then we called from my husband's cell phone number, and all it said was, please text this back. This is not a phone number, but a texting number. So my next thought was, I'm gonna call Dana and I'm gonna call Carlos and find out. And I did call. And I called Dana and I left a brief message that had to do with storm damage, and I didn't get a response back. So I called Carlos, and Carlos did call me back, but where I work in insurance, I've been very, very busy the last 3 weeks. So when he did try to call me back, I think because it came from a different number than the number I called, I never got a voicemail. Like, you never told me who you were or why you were calling. So I called you back one more time, and I explained to you why I was calling, and that basically I've had 3 days off since December 11th, and I work every day. And so if you could call me back and give me a date and a time then I could call you back specifically at that date and time. Otherwise, my job requires me to be on the phone the entire time I'm working to help out the people of Bowling Green. So, with that being said, I don't know if you can answer this tonight or if you want me to email you, but I'd like to know how this Becky got our phone numbers or got my husband's phone numbers. Because like I said, it's not listed. I'd like to know why just you two were listed on there and not everyone. That I'm not quite sure why only 2 commissioners would be listed on there. And if this Becky person is helping the community, why would it not accept my phone number? Why would it only accept my husband's phone number? So if you want me to, I can email this to you if you would like. Is that acceptable? Is that okay?
No, the public comments and your questions, Mrs. Allen, are heard. They're on record. You know, I'm not here to say commissioners can or cannot answer you. Traditionally, we're always in the hearing. But what I recommend is that you follow up with an email directly to them. You can CC me as well, todd.alcott@bgky.org, and we'll answer that through the email.
Okay.
Thank you, Mrs. Allen.
That's fair. But again, my stepfather was mayor, and I remember plenty of times people would call him at home or stop him at Murray's restaurant. He always talked to people.
That's what I'm stating.
Okay.
And I can vouch for all the commissioners. They answer emails, they answer calls. I've seen that, I've witnessed it. There may be, but you'll be answered through that process.
Okay. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
And I would just like a second to respond. I'm so sorry that I missed your call. That was definitely just because there's been so many. I'm sure there are other folks who have not received my call back, but it was definitely unintentional. I sincerely apologize. And I look forward after this meeting to have a one-on-one conversation about your concerns. Every single one of us, like the pastor said at the beginning of this meeting, we all love Bowling Green, and we have all set aside whatever differences we can to show up and work hard for our community. And so, we have access to, as elected officials, it's kind of like a digital phone book. And so then the only thing I can use is what's in that digital phone book. And then that was a great tool that we had for the people directly in that path to it let us get the information out that they had asked us to get out, which was to direct people to that wearebgstrong.com. And I don't know if this was the case when your father was mayor, but if 3 of us start doing something together, that's then a public meeting, and that's public gathering, and there's all these layers of complications. And also, so many of us are working together in twos. I've worked with every single one of these in twos, just because right now we're just trying to do as much as we can as quickly as possible. But trust me, I hate getting random text messages. I'm grateful you were concerned. I don't want anybody to be, a victim of any type of scams. And I look forward to continuing to ease your concerns. And we were so grateful for the volunteers we had that helped us get out that message and direct people to the help they needed as quickly as we could.
Okay.
I'm going to state for the record that I do not have a digital directory or access to a digital directory. I have access to, people that contact me and people that I have already in my telephone.
I guess I'd be curious if that's party affiliated, the digital. Like, is it all like Democrats, Republicans, Independents? It's everybody across the board. It's not a political affiliation. Is that correct?
No. Yes, all we
Okay.
did was take that digital map that the Warren County put together of the storm and the path, and then we just, every single phone number we had, we texted. And we just apparently didn't have all the numbers. It was, oh my goodness, no, we would never. Oh, we only want to help, the Republicans in this path of the tornado. That is horrible, and I can't imagine ever doing that.
Unprecedented comments.
I would like to, just address it as well. One of the reasons why I called you back, and I can't call you back, is because my uncle died
I'm sorry for your
on
loss.
Christmas Eve. And
I'm
we just
very
buried
sorry for
him
your loss.
yesterday. But there was no malicious intent. If you look at Facebook posts from different commissioners.
Not on any Facebook.
And I understand that, but if you look at Facebook posts from different commissioners where there have been commissioners that work 2 at a time. Now, I'm not sure how they got your number or not, but I do know that it was no malicious intent that was
Okay.
supposed to be there at all. So
Okay.
it was absurd when I'm hearing these things and stuff, because the whole thing for me was just to make sure that someone gets the help that they need. If you go to my Facebook post from December 11th, I haven't posted one picture where I've helped out. I've helped out at FEMA. I helped out at CTE. I
Okay.
helped out, and I apologize, she wanted to answer, and I'm
No,
going to give her
well,
the answer.
I think
And I
you
helped
have
out
a
actually
platform
the
for that.
very first day. Would you let her ask that, and now you're not letting me answer it? I've helped out the very first day I was at South Warren Middle School. In fact, I had my blue Kentucky hat on with a black jacket on. My wife knew it. Rob Clayton was right there giving the interview. I was already there helping load and unload trucks. Didn't take a picture whatsoever, because I'm not trying to take advantage of someone's worst day. The whole thing was making sure that everyone, it didn't matter if you were a Republican, if you're a Democrat, if you're independent, all I mattered was I wanted to make sure that the person, if they're in the line of the tornado, that they were getting the help. There were other commissioners who were working together on different events at two at a time. So it had no malicious intent. The whole thing was trying to make sure that whoever's in the line of the tornado was to get help. That was it.
Okay, I understand. So, but, I'll go ahead and just email. and
We're
yeah.
in a debate, and I appreciate you, Mrs. Allen, but normally, the process I'm saying is we hear comments, but we don't often just debate them or talk back, but we
Okay.
always take information and we can answer questions to the best of our ability.
Okay, thank you for your time.
Thank you. All right, we are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.